Alright, today we're going to look at program number 9. Right here, we're getting into if-else statements. So I'm going to copy that and paste it into my task description. And again, kind of make it so that you can read everything. This looks good. Pseudocode. So we're going to need an if-else statement. So we have an if with a condition, open and close curly, and then else, open and close curly. And we want if the limit switch is pressed, the motor turns clockwise. So we're going to say if limit equals 1, then we're going to start motor at 50. Again, we'll assume that clockwise is positive, and then else start motor at negative 50, and we can't just have an else, because if the limit switch is not pressed, then it would go into here. We need to do an else if the bump switch is pressed, start motor, and then we can do an else, and if neither are pressed, what should we do? We should stop the motor. So this is kind of our pseudocode. And then we want to do this where we set it up in a while loop so it will run forever. So we can do a while 1, do an opening and a close. And if you wanted to, you could, I think we can indent this. I don't know if we can indent that. Because when you do fixed formatting, since it's comments, it doesn't really indent those. But this at least gives us kind of an idea of what we're going to be doing. So let's go bring it down here. Again, if you're not good with syntax, I'm going to encourage you to drag and drop. So I'm going to drag and drop my while, and I'm going to drag and drop my if-else inside this body here. I'm going to delete this body, and then I'm going to fix formatting so it does my indentation here. And I'm going to just kind of copy what I've got here. So while 1, so loops forever. If the limit switch, but again I have to type in sensor value, bracket, limit switch, bracket, equal 1. Then I want to do a start motor. So again, I'm going to drag and drop. Delete this body. Then I want to do an else if. I'm going to copy this. It's less typing. Copy, paste. And then I need to add an else in here, and again, open and close on that. So make sure that whenever you start writing that you put your curly braces in there. Just makes it easier. Again, I'm going to do the left motor again. Speed of 50. Copy that, paste it here, make that a negative 50, and then here I want to do a stop motor. Again, use that tab key, it comes in handy, and this needs to be changed to a bump switch. So that should do it for us. Again, I'm getting rid of some white space. You can add comments, which would be great. So you can do these lines of code, add a comment. So if limit switch is pressed, motor goes clockwise, or whatever. Again, does that match what we want it to do? Limit switch is pressed, motor goes clockwise. If bump switch is pressed, the motor turns counterclockwise. That looks great. So, make sure everything's plugged in. So I'll plug in my Cortex and make sure it's turned on. Do a little compile, make sure that we have no errors. Download to my robot. And let's take a look. So let's do a start. So go to my picture, I'm going to push my limit switch, and if you you notice, so when I click it, it's going the wrong way. Okay, so clockwise is going counterclockwise. And if I push my bump switch, it's going clockwise. So those are just backwards. So again, if you think about our previous items that we've done, what do we do to manage that? Well, we can go into motor and sensor setup, and for my left motor, I can check the reverse box. I'm going to say clockwise. Well, we could do this actually. Clockwise would be negative if you think about moments. That direction and right-hand rule is negative. So I'm just going to flip these this time so that this is clockwise, which is a negative speed for me. So that goes with convention. So I'm going to go ahead and uncheck that reverse and re-download to Robot. And again, this should fix the issue. So again, just so you know that I'm telling the truth here, here's my limit switch. So it's going clockwise. And then here's my bump switch. It goes counterclockwise. And if I push both, the limit switch wins out. So again, I'm holding both, limit switch, bump switch, neither. And there is your first if-else program.